Let's get these two SD8s working with this Behringer X32. First off, the cable. This has to be a shielded Cat5e cable. Now, on the back of the Behringer X32, we have two AES50 ports. So I'm going to connect this cable from my AES50 port A on my X32 and plug that into the port A of my SD8. Once we connect this, we should see a green light up here. And we should also see a green light on our mixer. Now, if this isn't green, that means that one, either the cable is bad, or two, it means that our clock source is set incorrectly. If this is the only X32 connected, we want to make sure that this is set to internal. The next thing we're gonna do is grab another cable and plug in the second SD8 into the first SD8. Now, I am going to be using a shielded Cat5e cable that doesn't have the Ethercon connectors because I don't have another cable free currently. Now I'm going to take the B port from the first SD8 and then plug that into the A port on the second SD8. Now, if we come over to the console, we can see that there is a green light for the AES50 A and this says SD8 Plus. Now, if you go over to our routing button, we will see that the connected devices says that there is an SD8 and then there is another SD8 right after that because it says one of two. As far as routing goes, if I want to use my SD8s for the inputs to my channels, now I'm talking to you guys who are using the X32 rack, producer, compact, that don't have channel inputs for 17 through 32, we would want to route our two SD8s to our 17 through 32 here. We have AES50 A 1 through 8 is the first SD8. So I'm going to select AES50 A 1 through 8 for my 17 through 24, and then my 25 through 32, I'm going to go and select AES50 A 9 through 16. Now, if I had these two SD8s plugged into my B port, I would be selecting from my B port. Now that we have our inputs working here, we need to go to AES50 A, which is our outputs from this console to these stage boxes. Now, this is important if you actually want to utilize the outputs that are available to you on your SD8s. So when we have our 1 through 8, and we are pulling from outputs 1 through 8, that corresponds to anything that's routed on our out 1 through 8. So all of these outputs would be showing up on AES50 A 1 through 8. 9 through 16 is coming from outputs 9 through 16. And that again corresponds to my outputs 9 through 16. Now, these are already routed to the XLRs on the back of this physical console. So remember that whatever you're routing for those 16 XLRs is also going to be routing to these outputs here. Now I can change these outputs to be either 1 through 8, 9 through 16, or 17 through 24, all based off of this little switch down here. So the next time you need to plug in your SD8s, just follow this guide and it will work.